probably think I'll be just fine. But girl, you're wrong. Well, I'll fall apart the minute that you're gone. 'Cause a world without you in it is just somewhere that I don't belong. Yeah, it's somewhere that I don't belong. It's just somewhere that I don't belong. So girl, you're wrong.
Something in the water taught me how to crawl. Something in the water taught me how to fall.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Something in the Water Podcast. I'm Sean Clark here with Uncle Dave Griffin.
And our guest this time is Mr. Drew and Angie Holloway from the Golden Isles.
Good to be here.
Good to have y'all.
Thank y'all for coming.
Absolutely. Two more people that we have come to know and love through Boondocks. I think that's probably where we met the
Yes,
first
sir.
time. Surely, you know.
That's where we met.
How long's that been?
Right at almost 3 years.
And now y'all have tied the knot.
Yes, we have.
Good.
2 weeks ago yesterday. So
All right.
You got a fairly big family too, don't you? Was it?
we got a few kids.
9 between us.
And none between you?
Nine.
Nine.
Nine?
Between us. 9.
Nine
Between us.
between us. Okay, none together.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
They got married
factory's
2 weeks ago,
closed,
Dave.
yeah.
Well, give them some time. That's kind of my third marriage is my current marriage, and it was hers, mine, and ours. Y'all's is hers and mine.
That's it.
9
Yes.
total family members, or 9 kids.
9 kids.
Woo! Fun.
Who's got 5? Who's got 4?
I have 5.
I
Wow.
have 4.
I was just
No downtime at y'all's house.
No downtime. No. Well,
What are the ages?
youngest.
so I have a 32-year-old daughter, 25-year-old son, and a 21-year-old son, and then a 12-year-old
All right.
boy.
Yeah.
Mine are 27-year-old son. It's the only boy I have. The rest of them are girls, 25, 18, 16, and 10, 11.
But now all of them are they still all living there with y'all?
Oh, no,
No, not
Okay.
with us. No,
Oh, okay. I was fixing to say.
none of mine live with us. They're all grown and
Yeah.
gone,
Yeah.
except for my 12-year-old, and he lives with his mom.
I hope they're living, Dave. Dang.
I was trying to wrap my
As a
head
matter of
around
fact.
9 kids in the house. And I said, God knows, how do y'all go to the gig?
I know.
Partridge family.
Well, the more the merrier is what I say.
There you go.
It gives you a good foundation to have a child.
They're all great kids.
Yeah. I have a daughter who's 40, Connor who's 30, and then Lynn had 2 boys, and it's just a reward, really, is what it is.
Yes.
It's hard as hell when you're going through
Yes.
it, but when you get them grown and they go on and be successes themselves, you know,
Makes you feel like you did something
that's a good
right.
feeling. Yes.
I got mine grown if I can just get him out.
That's the tricky part.
Is he watching?
Get out.
Boy, you got to leave. Got to fly out of that
You
coop.
eat me out of house and home.
Got to leave the nest.
I said, Man, when I was, this is back a few years ago. He's 21 now, but I was like, when I was your age, I was no phone with a paper map in Orlando trying to find a concert. He goes, well, good for you. Like, you won't leave your room, though.
Well, yeah. The generation gap is always there.
Yeah.
But boy, it was different when I was coming along.
Very different.
Man.
I think that about phones a lot of times. It's like when I was younger, even into adulthood, it's like when you left home, you were just gone.
Until you came back.
There wasn't let me see where he's at or whatever. It was like you're just gone. You'd be like, I'll be back in 2 hours. If you wasn't back, it was just like, I don't know.
And looking back on that, my mama must have been a basket case,
Oh, yeah.
The worry and everything, Nowadays, at least you can get pissed off when the phone rings and no answer or go straight to voicemail, Yeah. Times they have changed. Kids, they do a lot of sitting around.
They do.
Unless you got that, unless you instill that in them,
I never stayed in the house.
No.
Like I'd get
we
up,
never did.
grab a little something to eat, and I was, especially on the weekends or during the summer, it was like I was out. I was
Saturday morning,
come home when I'm hungry.
eat a bowl of cereal, watch a few cartoons, outdoors till the sunset.
Drinking out of water hoses, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't drink out of a water hose today to save my life. But when I was a kid, it was like,
Well, one of the fun things we used to do was when the mosquito truck would roll around. I mean, you could hear the kids up the road, so you knew it was fixing to happen. You just waited on it with that bicycle.
Right behind it.
Get in that
Golly.
sucking in that poison.
DEET. DDT. DEET. Our parents just sitting there. Let them go.
Definitely a different world. Definitely.
Well, we still turned out pretty good, despite all the poison.
There you go. I'm good. That little twitch here or there.
Yeah, a little tick.
So how'd y'all get into playing music?
So when I was a kid, my dad was a big country music fan, and so anytime I rode in the car with him, it was his music, and I just somewhere along the way I fell in love with it. My mom listened to more, like this was the 70s, so she was more into like the Bee Gees and stuff like that, which I like that stuff. But like when I rode with my dad, I was like, yeah, this is good. And then I was a teenager, and all my friends listening to rap, Run DMC and stuff like that. I mean, I listened to it, as a teenager, but as a teenager, I really was into rock. Like I loved Kiss and Motley Crue and stuff like that.
Right.
But I'd ride with my dad in the car, and I would still like, this is really good too. And so I grew up in Mesquite, Texas, which is just on the outskirts of Dallas. At the time, it was the Mesquite Rodeo was the biggest rodeo in Texas, consistently. They had the Houston Rodeo every year, but it was once a year, big thing.
How big is Mesquite? Pretty small.
Probably smaller than Brunswick. Then.
Yeah.
Not now. Now it's Dallas has grown out by hundreds of miles, and
They've made
it's just part of it now. The rodeo's still there though.
Yeah.
But it's not a big deal like it used to be. Back then, it was every Friday and Saturday night. It was rodeo time
Really?
there, and so a lot of the people that lived in Mesquite actually worked at the rodeo or were rodeo riders and stuff. And one of my no.
I was scared of horses, tell you the truth. Me.
I would ride a horse in a minute, But you talking about getting on a bull or something, I'm like, Now, at the same time, I rode bikes and bikes and skateboards at skate parks, half pipes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I broke myself all up doing that when I was young, but I wouldn't get on a bull. So
Bull would've
that
been
doesn't
a
make
lot
much sense.
simpler,
It would have
man.
been a lot quicker and a lot safer probably. But one of my best friends at the time was Billy McKinney, and his dad was actually a bull rider at the rodeo. And found out later, like, he was a stuntman also. He was in a lot of movies.
Oh,
Apparently, a lot of retired bull riders and stuff end up doing stunt work because
they know it.
they know how to
the
fall, and
business
then,
everything. Yeah.
and they're tough. So, but
Tough
he
clowns.
he gave me a cassette of it was George Strait's First Greatest Hits, which was like 82 or 83. And I just remember listening to that over and over again, and I fell in love with it. And I always thought, man, if I could do that. Because even at that young of an age, it's like he just pulled me in, like made me feel something, and I was
What year were you born?
73.
I'm 74.
So, okay.
So,
So at
just pulled
82,
me
you'd have
in.
been 9.
yeah.
Okay.
And so over the next couple of years, I found people like Randy Travis, Clint Black came not long after that, and Garth Brooks came, and I refused to like it. I refused
Me and you's on the same page on that one.
because I was like, that's not country, blah, blah, blah. And I will have to say, as a few years went on, I was like, all right, it's good. It's good. But I think at first it was just like everybody was all like, Garth Brooks. And I'm like, George Strait's the man, Wasn't going to fall into it. But I grew to love Garth Brooks too. And, I would always sing along with him. My brother would be in the background. He's like, be quiet, you can't sing. Yeah. And I was like, whatever, and looking back, I really couldn't.
But you didn't know that.
I didn't. I thought I was superstar material. So then at 17, we moved to Georgia, which my parents are from Moultrie, Georgia, if you know where that is. And my grandparents were getting older, and my dad wanted to move back and take care of it. So he built a house on the land right behind theirs. And I got to be friends with a guy named Bud Gay.
Bud
Gay. Yeah. Well, his name's Abel, but his nickname is Bud, and his dad was Bud Sr.
Okay.
And his dad actually used to play with Chet Atkins in the 50s.
Wow.
And
Was his name Bud too,
Bud,
or was
yes.
it Abel?
Bud.
Oh,
It was Bud.
Did he spell it A-B-E-L? Or do you know?
ABEL was,
Just like the Bible.
yep. And so he was a pretty good guitar player from growing up, with his dad playing professionally. And he would play, and I would try to sing along, and I'm like, I can't get the feel for it, this or that. I think I need to learn to play. So I, feel where I'm at or whatever. So he's like, all right. So I went and bought a pawn shop guitar. He showed me a few chords, and I bought an old George Strait songbook, that had the chord diagrams, and I would just play at this time it was CDs, play the CDs, play along with it, learn how to play rhythm, and
that was the beginning.
maybe like within 6 months we started a band. Like he was like, I don't know how you learned to play so fast, but also play and sing at the same time so fast. He said, but that's not normal, just so you know. And of course, then I'm like, that's because I was meant to do this. But we started a band, and hadn't been able to kick it since then.
There you go.
And once you get the fever, it's hard to put down.
that first show we played, get up on that stage and people are out there clapping. And this was, so our very first gig, a guy that he had played for before was the house band at the Moose Lodge in Moultrie, which is a large deal for that town. Like they would generally have a couple of hundred people in there every night. He had got an offer to be the house band at a new place that was opened up. It was like the new thing and everybody was going to. So he takes that and he puts us up for the house band there. And we've never played a gig anywhere before, He's like, y'all can do it. I know y'all can do it. And I think that was just his quick way out of it.
Yeah. But it gave y'all a break.
It did. And, so it was like, we'll see how y'all do tonight. If people like you, we'll hire you. And so we went in there and we just played all like the standard dance hall stuff, 3-chord songs, Merle Haggard, George Strait, Willie Nelson, stuff like that. Anything we could think of that we could put together. And the people loved us. And, those people out there like, whoa, hooting and hollering. And I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. It's what I've been looking for.
And you were just, what?
I was 21 then.
Oh.
I was just old enough to get into the place. Like I'd probably been 21 for 2 or 3 months maybe. And,
was the gay guy still in the band?
What? Yes.
The gay guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, that didn't come out right.
Yes. Yeah, he
I
played.
hope the band wasn't named Gay Troubadours.
There you go.
What was the name of y'all's band?
16th Avenue Band. That's what we
16th
named
Avenue
ourselves
Band.
after 16th Avenue in Nashville.
Yeah.
But he played lead for me for probably the first year and a half, and then he joined the Air Force, which he's still in the Air Force.
Career.
And he's done really well. I still talk to him, still
Yeah.
friends. But if it wasn't for him, I probably would have never picked up a guitar. So.
Well, you got them folks in your life, that you can always trace it back to and say, had this not happened,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Everything after would have been different. Exactly.
Yeah. Now, Angie, I hear you're a newcomer,
I am.
but did you have any kind of musical background at all?
Absolutely not.
All right. Well, see, Miss Angie has picked up the bass guitar a short while ago and conquered it. And now, you conquered it enough to join.
There you go.
Okay, first of all, Drew currently is lead singer in a band called South of Savannah over there at Golden Isles.
Yes.
And if you look back on one of our earlier episodes, Roger Cooper, Roger and Randy Cooper. Roger is also in that band. And y'all are probably rock and roll country, probably. Good mix.
Yeah.
More country or
Nothing, anything
I would like
over-
a lot more country, but
Yeah.
you know, you got to do what
You got to do
you
that
gotta do what
when
the
you're
people-
playing for the people. And sometimes their bass player wouldn't be able to make the gig, and also Angie just slipped in there and filled the void and done right good at it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And it's nice to have your wife on the
It
stage.
is
with you.
nice to have her on the stage.
Yeah, it's, we can do it all, honey. We
Long
can
as we're
take the
together.
world.
There you go.
it helps out with, I'll be home in a minute.
I know, right?
Can you pick some milk up?
Yeah,
Bet I hear you calling.
My little wife, Aunt Lynn, started singing one song with me.
You married your aunt?
Yeah, I married my aunt, and
It is South Georgia.
and we got a long line of intermarital affairs in my family, son. But she's a big John Prine fan, and one day she's just said, "I want to sing a song with you live," and In Spite of Ourselves, the one that
I
we
love that
always
song.
did karaoke at
I love that
Boondocks,
song.
and it was John Prine and Iris DeMint in the original, and I always introduced her as Iris Demented.
There you go.
And but that's something though, and I was so proud of her. And she'd have to get her drink on, at the beginning to work up the nerve, but
She does good.
she does a good job at it. She was wanting to learn more songs, but we started writing songs together. I've been writing songs since I was 20-something, long time. And that was just a certain thing that she wasn't a part of, and
Right.
it wasn't that she thought about it a lot or anything, but about December of 2021, I believe it was, we took a little weekend vacation, went down to Jacksonville Beach and got us a room, and just went bar hopping that night, got back to the room late, and fueled by our alcohol stupor, we started taking our clothes off and got right down to the biblical naked.
And the lady was like, "You're in the lobby."
Well, it wasn't that bad. We were in the elevator. No. And of all times for a song to hit, I have this thing. Wait a minute. Pull my guitar off, start string this chord down. I Walk Alone. And it came out very Patsy Cline country. I walk alone. And but she helped me write that naked. And I couldn't, it wasn't, our clothes might as well just have been on because I wasn't paying no attention.
Right.
To that part of it. We was hammering a song out. And,
Hammering.
that was our first
He's
one.
hammering.
And she was so cloud nine after that. I wrote a song. And she contributed good lines to it. And when we needed it, it's funny though, I saw that side of her, very stubborn, very,
Saw that side of her, I fell in love with it.
because it get to the point about halfway through, and when you write a song, it's best to turn your recorder on your phone so you can capture it in case you forget what you did about 5 minutes ago.
Right.
Go back to it. Well, I've got recordings, and it'd be like we got to a real crunch point, where we were struggling, trying to figure it right. And I'd say, "What about?" And you'd hear, "What about this?" No. What about? No. No. But she's so cute when she says no. And but that just opened up the gates. Then about a week later, we wrote 7 more, one of which was called "Baby, Let's Get Naked and Write a Song."
Dang.
Well, you write what you know.
Right. What you know.
And
3 chords and a truth.
that's a cute little old song too. But we've got to the point where when we do write together, we can't use that method of nakedness every time
Yeah.
because you'd be in a car,
Yeah.
When 3 chords and the truth goes wrong.
There you go.
3 chords and the bare naked truth. But it is fun to have your beloved doing the
Yes.
same thing you're doing. It
Yes.
does. It brings you that much closer together
It does.
when you can share something like that. As personal as songwriting is, it's hard to collaborate with just anybody.
Yes.
He and I do a lot of
I don't
collaborating.
get naked, though.
And I don't ask him to. Sean,
refuse that part.
I'll tell you what
I have
works
to
for
wear a
me.
blindfold for Dave.
Sean, I'll tell you what works for me. No.
Nah.
Yeah, collaborating. You're a songwriter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell us how did that? When did you first become interested in doing that, or think I can do this?
It was not long after I started learning the guitar
Yeah.
and got kind of comfortable with, what chords go together and this and that. I just started jotting little stuff down. Like if I was playing a little melody and it came to me, I'd write a little bit down, and every couple of days I'd go back to it and this and that. And I had a whole bunch of pieces of songs, after 6 or 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote one that, finished it completely within, I don't know, like 30 minutes. It was just like, just came out.
Those are the good ones.
And I played it and I felt really good about it. I played it for my friend Bud and he was like, that's really good.
Yeah.
And it just I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
And because all the people that I grew up listening to and loved to listen to, like they were all songwriters, Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, all those guys wrote the majority of their own songs, And then, I knew a lot of guys at that time were not doing a lot of their own stuff. And found this out later that like George Strait never did any of his songs until probably the last 10 years. Never did any songs he wrote. They were all written by other songwriters.
Yeah.
I was like, I can do that, And it probably wasn't a great song, but it was. I was actually thinking about that earlier because I was like, what are they going to ask me, And I was thinking about the song, and then when I was in the shower and I got out, and I had put my clothes on by then though, but
Why?
I strummed a little bit of what I could remember of it, the chorus part, and I was like, that was pretty good,
Yeah.
for a first song,
Mm-hmm.
and of course over the years probably written hundreds of songs,
Yeah.
and probably 90% are garbage. After you play them a time or two, you're like, it's not as good as I thought.
You
it
know
was.
the ones that are the keepers. Yeah.
Right. And so, like I have notebooks at home with just like tons of songs, and every now and then I'll flip through them and I'm like, I think that was pretty good, and I'll play it, and I'm like, nah, it wasn't very good.
But having that backlog of papers and composition books and everything, you can go back and find one line and pull it out of that one and make it.
And I do that. Sometimes I will write something, and I'm like, it's all right, but it ain't great. And then months later, like I did that with a song this morning. Like I was flipping through my songs I've written, that I have on my iPad since I started using that in the last year or so. And I played it differently, with a little different feel, and I was like, that fixed it.
Yeah.
It was like, I was a fan of it before, but it wasn't right. It's like that's what it needed. That did it.
And you don't know, but you just know that you're a little bit, you're just unsettled, uneasy.
Right. It's like, it's okay, but it's not there,
A lot of stuff that you wrote 20 years ago, you see through different eyes now. So you would play it completely
right.
You're right. Yeah. Gosh, yeah. Think about the first songs that you wrote. 20-something-year-old.
Yeah, they're rough.
Yeah.
Well,
and totally different style too. Like I was trying to write Smashing Pumpkin songs or something.
well, it goes where you're at in life, And a lot of times it's what I'm listening to. If I get on a kick with a certain artist or something, I'll start writing like them.
Right.
Or in that feel.
In that feel, yes.
Yeah. But I like to think that I have improved over the years, and that's something that I guess that was mine. That's something that we all try to achieve, You want to know that you're getting better at your craft. And when I met these young boys here, I guess it was around 98. No, yeah,
98. I mean,
98. Damn. Your drummer was only 5.
yeah.
I think, and that was the first year we had the Graham Parsons guitar pool in the backyard. So that's when it began.
In 98?
98, yeah.
No.
So, yes, it was. So, did we meet before that?
I felt like we knew each other a few years before your
Before.
backyard party.
I don't know.
So it must have been 96 or something.
Okay.
I was 22 or whatever year that would have been.
You were born in 74?
Yeah.
Yes, I would have been.
So that'd been 96, yeah. Yeah, okay, well, let's call it 96. And, but these guys, he was good friends with my nephew, who was named after Graham Parsons, and me. He was named David Graham, my older brother's son. And he was into just strictly writing songs. He didn't have any musical background at all. Mm-hmm. He relied on the guitar players to...
He was a Jim Morrison type.
Yeah, he wrote a lot of poetry.
And then we put it to chords and stuff.
And then he started, all I got to do is rhyme now. And
He wrote some good stuff.
he did. Graham was on point. When I started hanging around them, or they started hanging around me, it was like, show me what you got, boys. And we've been writing the songs too. And and these guys, I was like, gotta get busy. Gotta get busy. But they pushed me into a stronger work ethic, and like, damn, I might have to, if they're looking to me for guidance, I might have to.
I think your writing got edgier along
It did. That's what y'all brought to me. I started writing realer, more real. And, of course, y'all were into, that was when Americana, was a big thing. Americana, the big umbrella that includes blues, folk, bluegrass, country,
American roots.
all of that. Y'all were eating that stuff up. Mm-hmm. And I heard a few artists that y'all brought to my attention that I had never heard before, never given a chance before. And so that colored my songwriting too a little bit. But it's like you was talking about that first song, 30 Minutes. Mm-hmm. I've always heard what John Lennon said, that the fastest songs are usually the best. And I think that's true, I mean, you can... It comes through.
It just
you,
comes
and
out.
It just
yes.
comes out.
Well, there's the whole song.
Everything's rhyming, and you ain't. And that's the key. Even those that you have to struggle and work hard at, if you can keep yourself out of it,
Right.
and let it all just be that spiritual process or whatever it is, that magic. You as a songwriter, you should devote yourself to keeping your damn opinion to yourself,
Right.
But you have to put yourself into it at times, I mean, this whole rhyming thing,
So, yeah, sometimes you struggle for, I need the right word to go right there. Mm-hmm. But I've always found that the songs that just come out like that, it's like they always end up, they're so much better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just a natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of channeling something, and you're not getting in the way of it coming out. And,
I've had people who's like, you need to write a song called such and such, and it's like, I don't write like that.
yeah.
And I've never been able to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write a song about such and such today. Like, I can't. Like, usually I sit down and I'm just kind of strumming along, and I'm like, a line comes to my head, and then it just
Run.
just go with it. And it's like, I don't even know what the song is about usually starting. And it's like, once, you get to a chorus part, I'm like, okay, now I get it. So then that gives you a clue where you're going for the next verse.
Ain't that amazing?
And
how that works?
yeah, and it's, I mean, Angie's coming there, and I'm like, I just wrote this, and I play it, and she's like, wow. I'm like, I know. And I get crybabyish. I don't know why. Like usually whenever like I finish a song and then I play it all the way through, it's like something about me is like, wow. It's like amazed.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like my eyes will be a little watery or something. And I'm like, it won't even be a sad song or nothing.
Well,
you know? I'm just like, wow.
A song is your baby. You
Right.
know, it's your emotions.
Yeah.
And it's an emotional thing to
Yeah.
write a song.
And I have songs that like, I'm like, I can't believe I wrote that.
Yeah.
You know, I can't believe that came out of me. But it's probably one of my favorite things. Like one of the newer songs I wrote, I have a line in it that said, "I'm tired of playing cover songs for money." And it's like I can play somebody else's songs all day long, and I have fun playing. I love playing, like people, you know, to enjoy it, out there dancing, having a good time. But when you play one of your songs and people cheer, there's nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Yeah, it is a magical process. And you talk to anybody from the greats all the way down. I've read many quotes, you know, when asked that question. Can you explain the songwriting process? Paul Simon or Paul McCartney or something. It's funny as hell because you expect a real solid answer. It's like, we don't know. You know, it's
I see these
It's a gift.
advertisements on Facebook and all, you know, for stuff like, "Oh, take my songwriting course. I'll teach you how to write." Blah blah blah. This and that. And I'm like, no, you can't.
Hucksters.
You can't teach that. Like when a song, a really good song, is born, like it just comes out. Like it comes out of something inside of you. Set the groundwork, and it's like your subconscious just says, "Here it is." Like there's, I think a lot of the mainstream music, like it's like that. You know, a couple of guys get together and they're like, "Oh, let's write a song about such and such," you know, and it's like there's no feeling in it. There's
no soul.
Exactly, no soul. And it comes across no matter who's singing it or whatever. It's like I don't feel anything from that. You know, when you hear somebody sing something, you know, that they wrote or that was written from that, you know, from that soul or whatever, it's like you feel it. You know, and that's like it's like we were talking earlier on the way over here on the drive that you know, a lot of the newer music, if you think about what songs will be remembered in 20 years, there's not many of them that you can say, you know, I think that'll probably stand the test of time.
What about tailgate of my truck and your Daisy Dukes drinking beer?
I don't think it is. You know,
I liked it to start with.
you look at a song like Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain or something like that was, you know, that was completely like, that was somebody bearing their soul. A song will last forever. You know, Purple Rain from Prince will last forever. Just because that is real. You know, and I don't see a lot of that these days.
From the window to the wall.
So I guess that probably answers my question that I don't even need to ask is, how do you feel about current country compared? Never mind. Next.
No, I will say I don't think that anybody who gets a record deal is obviously talented. I don't think a lot of them get to do what they would rather do. And I know that firsthand because I turned down 2 record deals over the years. And the second one was because of that, because I would have no control. Period. You know, they were laying out songs in front of me like, this is what we want you to record. And they were, I mean, they were just garbage. And I was like,
How old were you then?
30, I think. 29, 30. And I was in a position where, like, I really wanted it. Like, I wanted it. And, I went back and forth with them. And I'm like, I have all these songs. And they're like, what did it was I knew my songs. Now, they're not all-time hits at this point by any means. But they're good.
Yeah.
They're as good as what's on the radio. And the producer says, you're an okay songwriter, but you need to leave the songwriting to the professionals. And at that point, like, mentally, I checked out. I was like, ain't happening.
Yeah. What was the label?
That was Hilltop Records, which they were minor label, but they're owned by a major label.
Yeah.
It would have been something where I could have, if did well, could have.
Was that the second one?
That was the second one.
What was the first one? Or when was the first?
The first one was early on. I might have been 23, and what it was a producer saw me playing and got interested in me. Started calling me, going back and forth, and he's like, I can get you this, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I don't know much about this. What are we talking? And so he kind of told me the basics of how it worked, and more or less I was going to be this much in debt to them before I ever started.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
I was
the
like,
ones that you run from.
yeah, and I was like, I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah. If they start off with, you give us, then you say, that ain't the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think.
But you should be proud that you had the courage, the nerve to do that at such a young age. That's pretty strong.
I was always very very stubborn about the fact that what I want to do is I want to do something real.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was a kid and I'd listen to George Strait, I'm like, that's what I want to do. And that's always been the bottom line. I'll sing your songs if they're in that same vein. But the song they were pushing the most, and this was what's this? This had to be early 2000s when.
What was that? Big and Rich, or was that?
It was more like during the time of like John Michael Montgomery and them, and it was like Sold and the Grundy County Auction and this that. It was there was a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing going on.
The song they sexy and stuff like that.
Yes, and the song they were pushing the most was the basis of the song was I'm Beverly's Hillbilly. It was this guy who moved out to California.
Clever.
It was clever, but the song wasn't. It came across as very hokey.
And they wanted you to sing that.
All I could think of was "Achy Breaky Heart," because even though that made him super famous, that ruined him as a credible. Like nobody would take him seriously after that.
That goes back to what you said earlier about Garth Brooks when I said, Achy Breaky Heart and Garth Brooks hit at about the same time, and there was a powerful movement of traditional country in the late 80s.
Right.
With Dwight Yoakam,
exactly.
Marty Stewart,
Randy
Travis, all those guys.
All the guys who I looked up to.
It was coming, man, and I was saying, yes, this. And then here comes what was his name? Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah.
Bobby Bill.
And I guess.
And the thing is, if you listen to all his other stuff, he's talented.
Oh yeah, he is.
He definitely had the chops to be a contender, to hang with those guys.
Yeah.
But you come out the door with that, you're going to make $10 million off that, but you're done.
Mm-hmm.
After that, nothing he did, like nobody would take it seriously.
I don't think he's been broke since.
No, I mean, definitely not broke.
He probably don't care.
And going back to the record deal thing, yes, I held on to my values. Every now and then, there's a morning when the alarm clock goes off that I'm like, maybe you should have took that deal.
Yeah, and not so much from an individual point of view as these artists, Billy Ray and Garth. but what they did right there, what they achieved right there was to stop all that real music
Yes.
and change the minds and hearts of listeners and record buyers around the country.
Yes.
You know, and say, this is the next big thing right here. And music went down from there. I think that's what started the current music, you know.
I
It
think
just
so,
kind of
too.
got dumber and mediocre and just soulless.
They're
you know?
wanting to fill
It-
stadiums.
Yeah, it was the big money. It
Yeah.
was their opportunity to
And
jumpstart
those
that.
traditional acts aren't going to fill stadiums for the record companies.
Right.
No,
Before
that's
then,
true.
you know, before then there was a plateau as to how much money you could make.
Yeah.
And then once they got a taste, once the executives got an idea, oh, we can make that. Mm-hmm. That was it.
We got this guy that swings on the rope over the crowd. Sets this,
That ain't country. I hear the old folks now.
making a mess over here.
Yeah, I'm a big. All right, it's funny how your and my life. There's a lot of similarities in there. That I started late. You know, picked up the acoustic guitar when I was about 18, and but had that same appreciation of my daddy's music. You know, coming along and also your turn.
Also, what?
I don't know. I've been losing my train of thought today. A lot of things that you said, scraps of paper, you know, songwriting and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I got stuff in the attic right now, just full of old songs and napkins and paper bags and whatever you have close by, you know. That's the way it was done. Nowadays, we got
Cell phones.
pants. We got these. Do everything for you right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do
Yeah,
you
I
write,
occasionally,
Angie?
I occasionally still.
Y'all should try it. Get naked.
There we go. We'll do that later.
Like it.
Yeah, but not for songwriting. Don't get your hopes up. It's fun, though. It is. That's what I've always. If people look back, ask me at the age I am now, what are you as in music? Some people come up that don't know any better. Say, you sure can play that guitar? I said, yeah. No, I don't. I just do what I do. But if anybody's asked me, are you a great, what do you do best in music? I said, my heart's always been writing songs. And that's it. Right? That's what makes me get up every day.
Right.
That's my thing. I want to be known for writing songs. How about you, guitar slinger?
I'm more in
You're a
it
damn good songwriter.
for writing songs too. That's what I get the most joy out of.
Yes, that's it. Joy. I like playing too. I do like playing.
Well, I am definitely not an amazing guitar player. I taught myself, and I've always been more of a singer,
Yeah.
and so I generally concentrated on that. I mean, I play decently. I can't play lead. My fingers just don't work like that.
My brain don't.
But I mean, I play well enough to play with the band and write and play acoustic shows or whatever. But I'm not going to wow nobody with my guitar skills.
We're actually in the minority. You know, when you look back to your high school class, the number of musicians that came out of that, number of people that could play a guitar came out of your high school senior year.
A lot of people could play. Not a lot of people could write. but a lot of people could play better than the writers. It's kind of different. People who start playing guitar and they're just really trying to get better at guitar. And the minute I could learn 2 chords, I was trying to write a song. And,
Right.
and the heck with the skills.
You had that deeper drive than anybody else your classmates would have. I know there was nobody in my class hardly.
But I mean, you got like Josh Kirkland, who's he had the drive, but he wasn't using it for writing. He was using it for being the best guitar player around here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I did see him the other night. He is really good.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. My wife has got a nickname for him, Josh Blank Kirkland, but I can't say it here.
I can guess.
The word mother's in it,
I got you.
which you can say.
There you
I like to call him King Josh Kirkland.
There you go.
I like to call him King Kirkland. That's a good blues
There you go.
nickname. He always goes, he's a good one, though. Man. Let's look at some pictures. This is always fun to do.
Oh, jeez.
I could only find 3. Look at the 3 not numbered.
There it goes. There's me.
Now, if you look at this lovely couple right here, how can this wholesome, beautiful man and woman end up looking like this?
Hours
Explain
and hours.
this to me.
Yes.
Hours and hours and hours
jeez.
of makeup and prosthetics.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Anything
it
to
was
win a
number 1.
costume contest.
It was number 1
It was.
at the Halloween costume contest.
Wow.
As well it should have been.
That's awesome.
Oh my God!
Long
Y'all should have seen them live and in person.
Yeah. My whole body was painted black. It took me about 6 hours to do that cat makeup, and it took me about 4 hours to do his.
You done good.
That was a lot of
Wow.
work.
Yeah, she is very artistic and creative. That's
The prosthetic is the mask part, right?
Right.
yes.
So where does that come from? Is that a kid or did you?
There's a website that you can go to and buy prosthetics for Halloween.
So it came white,
Came
yes.
white.
more or less.
Yep.
Okay.
yeah, it's just like a.
And the eyes are real.
Eyes are real.
I tell you what, you got some mean looking eyes. I think it's the mask causing them to look that way. And wow.
Oh, jeez.
yeah, that was great. We usually for Halloween
Oh, no, you got pointed ears. You're not an animal. That's just
He's
the.
the
It's
devil.
a demon.
That's the devil.
yeah, I got the little horns there, and
Oh yeah, that's a horns. I see it now.
we decided to do I guess like a religious type thing. So I was the devil, and she's Bastet, who was the Egyptian goddess.
Goddess of what? Cats.
It was the goddess of wheat.
Wait a minute.
or,
Hey,
Of the earth, I like of I guess that's who they prayed to for their crops. and-
agriculture.
yeah,
Yeah, like that. Okay, cool. It was religious, all right.
There you go.
One time of the year we go all out as Halloween. We love
Yeah.
it.
Y'all, yeah.
I love Halloween.
We
too.
do too. Yeah, Halloween's a big thing. I ain't gonna tell you what my costume was that night. It was ridiculous.
I think I remember.
Oh my God! Did it have an appendage?
It did.
On a leash?
Big D Dave.
Okay.
Big D Dave.
Now, at one time, I won first place for that outfit, but it didn't have a leash that time. I can remember getting up in front for the voting, and it got to me, and I heard, What is it? It was lukewarm. How dare he?
Well, so we went to her work. This is at her work Halloween party, actually.
Oh, okay.
And
It's not
And
like
I
you
actually-
could do that every day for a few days. You had to get it all in one
right,
day,
I think the Boondocks one was what?
Was a Wednesday?
Like a Wednesday.
Like a
Something
Wednesday,
like that,
and
yeah.
then I think Saturday was her work one, so we did it again.
Oh, my
or maybe
gosh.
Friday. I think it was Friday because I rushed home from work, and I'm like, I got to get this
16
done.
hours, did you say? How many hours?
6 for
Hers
me
took
and
6, mine took about 4.
Okay.
Good Lord. And y'all did that twice in a week.
Man.
So I actually won the one at her work, and one of the ladies I heard in the back was like, I don't think the devil should win anything.
Well, you're going to have them.
And I was like, well,
I thought she was going to say, he's a horny devil, ain't he? Back up to the band pick there, and we show the folks. This is south of Savannah.
that was,
Can you do
I think
name
that was our first gig, I think.
It was.
They're still the same
Still the same
personnel.
guys.
Name them from left to right, front row. Or left to right all the way across.
All right, that is Brad Camp on the left. He plays drums.
Okay.
Second there is Roger Cooper. He plays lead guitar. In the back there is Gary Moore. He plays bass. That's me, Drew Holloway. And on the right is Jonathan. He is our other lead guitar player and actually a learning songwriter.
Okay.
He's good at writing songs. He's just not good at dwindling them down to the necessary parts.
Got you.
So usually they're
He's learning.
yeah,
What's
and we
his
all do
last
that.
name?
Sellers.
Sellers. Okay.
Usually, and it's like I told him in the beginning. You write everything that comes to mind, and then over time you realize every song can't be 5.5 minutes, and you have to learn to chip it down to what's necessary. So he'll write something, and he's like, "What do you think about this?" And I'm like, "Let me work on it a little bit." And I'm like, "Okay, what about this?" And he's like, "Oh, that's so much better."
Mm-hmm.
And I told him that's a part of learning it. You can't have 5 verses in every song. I mean, it just doesn't work.
Bob Dylan's we've already had a Bob Dylan.
There you
go
go.
ahead and do your thing.
But no, a lot of the stuff he writes is really he looks at things from a different perspective than I do. So whenever I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, I get that, and maybe we could come from this way some and meet somewhere in the middle. We have one song that we play in our show that is really good that we did together.
Sean and them Pine Box Dwellers, one of the first bands around here anyhow, that has managed to not play more covers than originals.
Right.
Some bands are strictly covers. You got to be way on up the ladder to play just your music,
Right.
And you got to have a built-in following and all for that. But this, my approach always was restaurant gigs, bar gigs around here, touristy and all. I think I got to play something they know.
Right.
They ain't gonna like this. They ain't gonna like my song. But Sean reversed that, and he's worked hard at it over the years, and they've built a great following. But theirs is probably 90-10, right? 90%, 10%, or 80-20 at least. Maybe 85-15 or 86-14.
Probably 80-20. But I think the covers we play, we just play them because we want to play them. But
even those come out sounding like Pine Box.
They do.
we try to do them our own way. But I don't think it matters as much anymore. And I think it's all in your head. And people are out,
Wait a
like,
minute.
even last
Let me
night,
write
you're like,
that
does
down.
anybody want to hear original? And everybody's like, yeah, like that's what they want to hear. And then you're brown-eyed girl in them.
Yeah, it definitely got in my head. How about y'all's situation now?
And
How do y'all
that's
do?
the same. I mean, whenever I came up playing, it was always like that. It was like you had to sneak an original in here or there, And I've over the years I've tried to put more and more, in the shows, and I mean I would rather play all my stuff and just sink or swim that way. But
Yeah,
if
you got to look
you
at the reality of
if
it.
you want to keep playing, as far as in bars and clubs where they're trying to draw a crowd, it's like you gotta
I always like to tell them, going to do a few originals now. If y'all like to sing along. So what's next for south of Savannah? Are y'all got any lofty goals, or are you just going to continue on just kind of doing like the rest of us?
We have actually a music festival coming in June that we're gonna do a whole original set,
All right.
and so looking forward to that.
Where's that?
That is actually at the Golden Isle Speedway.
What's that?
It's a new thing.
Coast to coast.
Yeah, it's called Coast to Coast Music Tour, I think is what they're calling it. This is the first one they're going to try to do every couple of months in a different area.
Wow, that's
but this is
pretty ambitious.
It is. We'll see how it goes.
Who's putting that on?
I'm not sure the parent company. I know William Smith is running it here, and he is a friend of mine. Actually, her best friend's daughter is married to him. I played at their wedding, and so whenever this came along, he asked me, do you want to do the opening set? Does your band want to do the opening set? And I was like, absolutely. And at that point, I was thinking we'd throw a few originals in there, and then as I saw who they're booking, they're all original artists. A couple of them are national touring artists, and I was like, oh no, I'm not doing covers. If that's the kind of deal it's going to be, then we're going to come out swinging with our own stuff.
Who's some of the other acts?
Headliner's going to be.
I just heard Will Mosley's the headliner.
All right,
cool.
brother.
We've had him on.
I guess they
yeah.
just got him. I heard that the other day. Cam Davis, I think is one. He's from I want to say Arkansas.
Arkansas.
I know they've got somebody from Arkansas. They've got and the name slipped my mind. I'm sorry. Somebody's coming from Nashville.
So it's basically a country show
Yes.
more than anything.
Right. They do have a couple of other local people that are playing, and so it ought to be pretty good.
Boy,
They're hoping
Will
to
has
sell-
moved up, hadn't he?
Well, I was going to say they're hoping to sell a lot of tickets, and I think adding him will probably definitely do it.
Yeah.
So rather than we may be playing for a couple of hundred people, maybe a couple of
I
thousand
tell you,
people.
it blows my mind. We had him and Benji on last year, and my God, he was telling us, well, I went to college on football scholarship. Then I decided that wasn't me and picked up the guitar in college and tried to learn it. I've been playing guitar for 3 years. Wrote my first song an hour ago.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's like, bam.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here saying, I hate you.
Yeah.
Some people are definitely just born with it and don't even know it yet until something comes along and pushes them in that direction,
It's almost like innate, it was like built in, like
Right.
herpes. It was just sitting dormant. It was lying dormant for
Right.
all that time. And then all of a sudden,
Breakout.
I saw, I was out visiting my daddy the other night, and I was watching TV with him. So I never watched American Idol. And it was on that 2-part special where they were narrowing it down to the 24.
Right.
And there he was.
Yeah.
And I told Daddy's 96. He says, we had that boy on the podcast. He said, you know that, who's the country guy? Blake Shelton. Daddy told me, he said, that Blake Shelton mentioned Woody Folsom on the last one, and that boy went home and
Got a truck.
and got him a free truck. And I said, no, Will. He's a good boy. He's natural.
Yeah.
He's very humble too. Mm-hmm. Just eat up with it. I was looking at all them other ones on that program, the 24. They brought them all back out into the courtyard, and I think it was Mickey Mouse or something like that, Minnie Mouse, all out there. And the majority of the 24 were dancing and high-fiving and all. I look back there at Will, he's standing there in the back.
Yeah.
Above everybody,
Everybody's tall.
just looking around
Yeah.
like, that just ain't him.
You know, I have found that people who do it for the right reasons and are in it for the art tend to be
Yeah.
more humble and you know, it's like they know, because no matter what anybody says, whether you think you're born with it or this is what you were meant to do or this or that, if you get anywhere at all, you got lucky. You know, and you gotta be grateful and thankful, and also everybody around you is the reason why you can do that. You know, a lot of people walk around like they're the greatest gift or whatever, and it's like, you know, all the people that buy your records or listen to you or work your staff or whatever, like they're the whole reason you can do this. It's not because you're better than anybody else, because there's always somebody better. You know, no matter how good you think you are, there's always somebody that will put you to shame.
That's right. Well, it's just not the right thing to do. You
Right,
know?
right.
Just be good to one another.
Exactly.
And, you know, that old fame can ruin a lot of things.
Somebody that's more
Down to earth.
driven and whatever can make it quicker than somebody that can play better and don't have the work ethic of
Right.
whatever, you know.
Yeah, you got to want it. I want it. But
I'm tired.
I'm running out of room.
Yeah.
I'm running out of road.
American Idol Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I paid my dues.
Exactly.
That's the amazing thing about that new breed of artists out there now, that we've talked about being a little plastic, soulless. They it seems like they want instant gratification,
Right.
rather than having to work for it. You know,
Exactly.
That to me, that's the concept of these reality shows and stuff. It's like you
Just show up and get
Yeah.
picked, and you know.
let's see,
You got the look.
6 months later, you're a star.
Well, I think also paying your dues and working hard to get there gives you that soul and that character to say no, and they don't want to hear no.
Yes.
So it's like if you get somebody who's like just wants to be famous, they'll do whatever you say.
Exactly. They'll pay that record producer
Right.
instead of the record producer saying, "We got your money. We want you." There's an old story of a guy here in Waycross that happened to. He was a manager at Shoney's here. They had some kind of convention in Nashville, and he was in a nightclub. You know how nightclubs are up there, kind of dark. dim-lilied. And he was at a table with all of his associates, and he sang around here, you know. They knew he could sing. And it was like, I don't know if it was, there's probably a band on the stage up there. And go on, get up there. You can do it. And he got up there and did his Elvis impersonation. And as soon as he got off that stage, out of those shadows slinked. Man, that was good. I think that we can make something here out of it. And after so many $1,000s later that they took from him, the lesson was real.
They will get you.
They will, boy. And all you got to be is like those people in a position where they'll do anything.
Yeah, Nashville, they're waiting at the border, waiting on you to come in. Like, he looks thirsty.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Let's take all his money.
Sharks.
We're going to put you in with Dolly Parton.
Yeah, and on the other side of that coin is all those hard-working that are out there now. The Sierra Farrells and it's a lot of good music. Charlie Crockett. I didn't know about Charlie Crockett till Justin introduced me. What do you know Jim Lauderdale? You've heard of Jim Lauderdale? Of course, he wrote many of George Strait's hits.
Right.
We had a documentary of him on, we got a Patreon thing called The Deep End, Something in the Water, The Deep End. And that's where we get naked and write songs. No, we cuss real bad.
All right. Let's go.
It's supposed to be the deep end, you know, it's supposed to be a little risque, and subject matter is just hardcore as we can make it without embarrassing ourselves.
Right.
I think we did that already.
But we did a Jim Lauderdale documentary on one of them. Of course, I had him as the headliner for my Grand Parsons Festival last year.
Oh, nice.
And in the documentary, it kind of explored his life and everything. But the first album he came out with, I bought way back in, what was it, late 80s or early 90s. Planet of Love was the first album he came out with. And throughout this documentary, it was like he was always one step behind when it came to making himself the star, you know.
Right.
He never could get over that hump. And his songs were great.
Place.
The production was great. Everybody in the industry was saying, this guy's good. But none of the record companies would take a chance on him. But he sure wrote them hits for George Strait, Dixie Chicks, all those other people.
And I don't get why he didn't, because
I don't either.
He had the look, he had the charisma, he had the talent. He was in with all of them.
It's just odd. It seems like he was being almost blacklisted or something, you know. He's a good guy, guy.
I've made that statement to Angie before. I'm like, I don't know. There's got to be something about me that people just don't like. You know what I mean? It's like, because I kind of feel like that same thing. It's like almost there, and it's like, why did this not happen? Or why did this not go through? Or, you know, why is this person not contacting me back when they obviously acted interested? You know what I mean? And it's like,
I get that all the time.
Just must be something about me. And it's probably the same type of deal. There's like no explanation for it. It's just, I always say I'm the king of second place. It's like right there, but just not there.
It's like God up there going, this is your life.
I know, right?
Me and Lynn
or like the guy from the commercial, he's like, I got to be quicker than that.
Me and Lynn were just having this same conversation. I got to the point where I just do it humor in a just self-deprecating humor, you know. Say
Right.
nobody likes me, you know, or something
yeah.
like that. And it's just she got to the point where this weekend she says, "Stop your whining."
Stop it.
I said, "I'm just joking." You old whiny ass musicians. So sensitive.
I know, right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I have this song I just wrote not too long ago. Actually came from a line. So my best friend is a guitar player and a singer. He lives in Tallahassee. He plays for a living. Very talented.
Who is that?
Stephen Ritter. He's actually coming to play with us this next weekend at the Relay for
What
Life.
Knots?
Yes, you know.
I've been trolling you.
Yeah,
on
he's
Facebook.
amazing guitar player, great singer.
No
Yeah.
control.
But Jonathan's going to be out of town, so I was like, "Why don't you come play with us for that?" Because I don't get to see him very often. And
When is that?
That's Friday night. This Friday night.
This Friday night.
And so years ago, so he used to work for the state. This is a funny story. He used to be in charge of the condom stock for all the health departments in Florida. So like everybody in his
I
office,
like it already.
everybody in his office called him the condom king of Florida.
Condom King.
So I don't know. One day I text him. I'm like, "What are you up to?" And he's like, "I'm sitting in the Circle K parking lot, eating 2 gas station hot dogs for lunch." And before I could even reply, he just said, "It's hard being poor white trash, my friend." Like that. And I laughed so hard. And so a couple of weeks ago, I just had kind of a crappy day. And I sat down and I started like just writing just this just funny song about just about life in general. Then I get to the chorus, I'm like, "Oh, that's perfect." So that's the name of the song, "Poor White Trash," and so I sent it to him. He's like, "Oh, that's great." And the other day we were talking about something, and I don't even remember something had happened, and then he just sent it. He was like, "It's hard being poor white trash, my friend." And so that's kind of my thoughts a lot of time. It's like, it's hard being poor white trash, even though obviously we're not. But
I tell you, if you can work in "Up to My Neck in Rubbers" somewhere in that song,
hey, there you go.
that'd be good.
There you go. I'll have to,
Up to my neck and rubbers and hot dogs.
I eat Circle K hot dogs and up to my neck in rubbers.
oh. That would have been great.
Don't do it.
But
Don't take Dave's advice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where are y'all gonna be this Friday?
it's the Relay for Life. It's supposed to be down at Mary Ross Park
Okay.
downtown, the waterfront.
I won't be over there this Friday. I got a local gig Friday.
Then Saturday, y'all are playing
yeah.
acoustic, just you and Steve.
Yeah, me and Steve are going to do Benny's Red Barn on Saturday.
That's a later gig, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 9 to 12 or 9 to 12:30, something like that.
I'm 7 to 10 at Wee Pub. So y'all still, what are yours? Starts at about 9.
Yeah, I think it's 9 to 12.
We might be able to get over that
Yeah,
causeway if I can still see.
gotcha. All right, my name's Drew Holloway. This first song is called "You're Wrong." Here it is, you're finally leaving. You say I won't be grieving when you're gone. You think I'll drink a beer, clean up a little around here and just move on. By the end of the week I'll be flying. It's guys like me ain't ever crying. But girl, you're wrong. Well, I'll fall apart the minute that you're gone. 'Cause a world without you in it is just somewhere that I don't belong. So girl, you're wrong. So as you drive away in that short bed Chevrolet headed for Memphis, I know that you ain't thinking about how my heart's sinking, but it is, girl, it is. And as you drive across that state line, I know you probably think I'll be just fine, but girl, you're wrong. Well, I'll fall apart the minute that you're gone. 'Cause a world without you in it is just somewhere that I don't belong. So girl, you're wrong. I know you probably think I'll be just fine, but girl, you're wrong. Well, I'll fall apart the minute that you're gone. 'Cause a world without you in it is just somewhere that I don't belong. Yeah, it's somewhere that I don't belong. It's just somewhere that I don't belong. So girl, you're wrong. Here it is, you're finally leaving. You say I won't be grieving when you're gone, but you're wrong. All right, this next one I'm gonna do, it's called Poor White Trash. Kind of a comical song. I hope you get a kick out of it. Uncle Sam, he must be a pervy uncle. Yeah, 'cause he's been bending me over for years. Down at the filling station with taxation and inflation. Oh, and he don't give a damn about my tears. Every day I go out to the mailbox, and there's letters that say I owe somebody some cash. Man, I swear one day I'm gonna up and drive away, right after I tell them to kiss my ass. And I don't think I wanna wake up in the morning just to have to do the same old things again. And punch in and punch out and fight the traffic to the house, just to know I'm pissing in the wind. Yeah, it's hard being poor white trash, my friend. songs for money. Oh, but nothing that I write is selling these days. Bro and pop country's all they're pushing, and all they're pushing is all you're buying anyways. And I'm tired of telling my girl we can't afford it. Yeah, when all she wants to do is live her life. But bills and bad decisions, and the taking and the giving, yeah, that don't leave much room for the wife. And I don't think I wanna wake up in the morning just to have to do the same old things again. Punch in, punch out, and fight the traffic to the house, just to know I'm pissing in the wind. Yeah, just to know the pounding will never end. Yeah, it's hard being poor white trash, my friend. Poor white trash.
Well, folks, it's time for Tale of the Week.
All right.
Say hello to Justin.
Just in time.
He always is. Boy, that was some bad pixelation, wasn't it? It's better when you largen it. Remember this guy? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I mean,
Pete Bilker, the hard hat wearing construction worker on Home Improvement back in the 90s. How about Monty Johnson, the drummer in Doyle Hargrave's band in the movie Sling Blade? Rodney Hot Rod Dunham, the marijuana kingpin from the TV show Justified. Or how about the biker dude on a New York subway in the Breath Savers TV commercial in 93? Wait a minute. Oh, that's the video. Hey, sorry about that. Getting ahead of myself here. Remember this?
Wow, that's some breath. Oh, I agree. I've enjoyed your breath ever since 96th Street.
Now back it up.
Thank you very much. What makes Breath Saver so special? Sir? Pardon me.
Wow, that's some breath.
Oh, I agree.
I've enjoyed your breath ever since 96th Street.
Well, thank you very much. What makes Breath Saver so special? Sir, it's a pleasure being crammed next to someone like you.
Hey,
Sure. Breath Saver. Sure. Hello.
hey, I was there next to it. Worse than it is.
My Breath Saver.
They just all stayed on. A pretty good resume for Mickey Jones, a character actor and musician born in Houston, Texas. But that's just a piece of his story. Mickey Jones was born on June 10th, 1941, son of a U.S. naval officer and a homemaker. He attended Sunset High School in Oak Cliff, a suburb of Dallas, Texas, right up the road from Mesquite.
Oak Cliff's a bad part of town, just so you know.
Well, he grew up in it, and he learned to play the drums, forming a local band called the Catalinas. Jones drummed for Trini Lopez briefly. Trini Lopez was the guy who sang, "If I Had a Hammer, I'd hammer in the morning."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the Lemon Tree. Those were old early 60s stuff. He drummed for Trini Lopez before pursuing college degree at North Texas State College, then moved to California to take a short-lived factory job at Roar Aircraft in San Diego. Moving to L.A., he hooked up again with Trini Lopez, who went on to some commercial success with If I Had a Hammer. By 1964, Jones left Trini's group to join Johnny Rivers' band, touring and entertaining the troops in Vietnam. 1966, Bob Dylan offered him a job, briefly replacing Levon Helm and working with the other member of Dylan's band, who would go on to become the band. Following Dylan's motorcycle crash, Jones decided to head back to Los Angeles and concentrate on a full-time career in acting. He landed a few roles as an extra when the First Edition called, looking for a drummer to round out their new band, consisting of former New Christy Minstrels members Kenny Rogers, Thelma Camacho, Terry Williams, and Mike Settle. The First Edition's first big hit came in 1968, this is YouTube, with a counterculture classic called Just Dropped In to See What Condition My Condition Was In.
Oh, yeah.
What condition my condition was in? I woke up this morning with the sun down.
Look at Skinny Rogers.
Skinny Rogers.
You know, he was brilliant. He was good at what he did.
Oh, yeah.
He was talking about playing bass and singing at the same time. He's doing all that. He was the bass player. I love how these, they were live. This song was written by Mickey Newberry,
Wow.
songwriter that wrote American Trilogy for Elvis and Frisco Mabel Joy. He's out there in San Francisco. This came out in 1968 when I was 15, and I didn't know a damn thing about drugs, but the song sure put me there.
Yeah, I had no idea Kenny Rogers was in this band.
You did?
No.
Yeah. Well, folks, we like to think of our Something in the Water as educational, informative.
That's about it.
Decapitating, hallucinating, and humorous. Mickey Newberry wrote that song. He also wrote a song called Frisco Mabel Joy, in which he told the tale of a Waycross, Georgia farm boy who befriended a San Francisco lady of the evening. Leaning into more of a country folk direction, the group continued on with the moderate success of But You Know I Love You, written by First Edition guitarist Mike Settle. The hit that pushed them back into the top 10 in 1969 was a song that came from the pen of country singer-songwriter Mel Tillis.
Mel Tillis wrote this?
Yeah. Man, what a song.
The shadow on the wall tells me the sun is going down.
He ain't even sweating. Yeah, simple.
Don't take your love to town.
I like the sound of that bass through the tone.
Me that started that whole crazy Asian war.
Oh, that was Alexis saying something.
Patriotic
Lexa, hush. All right, that's good enough.
True that I'm not the man I used to be.
Mel Tillis, the old legendary member of the Grand Ole Opry, wrote that song. He's in the Country Music Hall of Fame, Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame, and he passed away November 19th, 2017. God rest his stuttering soul. After the success of Ruby and with an eye toward marketing, the group changed their name to Kenny Rogers in the first edition and followed with more hits. Reuben James, Something's Burning, Tell It All, Brother, and Heed the Call. By 1975, the group's sales had begun to decline, and seeing the writing on the wall, Mickey Jones was the first to leave, easing back into his comfortable role as a successful character actor in Hollywood, portraying the role of many a lovable and memorable television and movie character that would make him a household face in America. Oh, and he was Bob Dylan's drummer, too.
You said that already.
I know.
I didn't know he did all that.
I tell you, that's what's cool about it.
And I'd seen that video of the
Breath mints.
what condition my condition was in, and I remember that drummer, but I just didn't think,
Yeah,
oh, that's him.
Yeah. Man, what a life.
Wasn't he in Roadhouse?
He passed away in 2018. I believe he might have been. Well, y'all, we've certainly enjoyed having your smiling
enjoyed it,
faces
too.
on here. It was fun.
Yes, it was.
It's
First podcast I've ever been on, so
well, now that this
too.
one's out of the way, you're on your way.
there we go. Sky's the limit.
We appreciate your good, humble opinion towards songwriting and music and performing and everything. I think that's makes me feel good inside to hear somebody so explain it so level-headedly like that. That's a good thing to have.
Well,
and I
thank you.
hope y'all all the success in the world.
I appreciate it.
And I hope to hear you playing the bass. I have not heard y'all yet. Okay. But when I do, can I request her to get up on one song
You can.
if he's there?
You can.
Okay. Good. Y'all, look out for them in the Golden Isles and here and there and around here. South of Savannah. Thanks, Drew and Angie Holloway. Thank y'all for being on.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
We appreciate it. See y'all next time.
When the cold black water finds its way across through your veins, it just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate.